Assalamualaikum and greetings students. In this video, I'm going to explain to you on our third chapter of Ent300, okay, which we're going to look into registration and also business entities. Right, this chapter actually will be discuss the responsibility of business operators, okay, which they require to actually register their business to the authorized agency, and it also discusses on the advantages and also the disadvantages of various types of business registration. Okay, so the objective of this chapter is that you will be able to identify the types of business entities in Malaysia, to provide and also understanding on the importance of registering a business, and then explain the business registration procedures, and lastly to discuss the legal aspects related to the business formation. These are the learning outcomes. So by the end of this particular chapter, you should be able to identify 5 types of business entities and then explain the advantages and the disadvantages of each of these business entities just now, and then describe the steps to register a business, and then list the government organizations involved in the registration of the business entity, and lastly to explain the similarities and also the differences among the business options. Okay, so these are the list of topic. You should know that we are talking about business entity in Malaysia, the benefits and also its limitation, as well as on how you're going to do the registration. Right, so every owner or every business person, as an entrepreneur, you wanted to sell your product. Therefore, before you do that, you are required to actually register as an business entity, or you need to register your business. Okay, or else whatever that you are doing is actually illegal. Okay, you cannot simply sell without registering to a legal and to legalize your business. Okay, so business registration in Malaysia is actually managed by Companies Commissions of Malaysia and agency. It is actually an agency under Ministry of Domestic Trade, Consumer Affairs, Cooperative and Consumerism. Right, so basically there are 4 types of business entities that can be registered with SSM, which is sole proprietorship, the partnership, limited liability partnership, as well as the private limited companies. Okay, while another form of business entity is actually cooperative. Okay, cooperative have a different objective, and the registration will be done in or at the Cooperative Commissions of Malaysia, SKM. Okay, and each of the entity of these two has its own advantages and disadvantages, all right, which when a person, before you start to do a business, you need to consider these particular types of business entity before you actually wanted to register, right? So let's first look at the first types of business entity in Malaysia, which is the sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship, from the name itself, is a solo person, meaning to say it is solely owned by a person. Okay, one person who fund the business by himself or herself. A sole proprietorship is the most popular and the simplest and easiest form of business entity in Malaysia. It is so easy. If let's say today you feel like you want to open up a business, so you can go to CCM just now, the Companies Commission of apa tadi nama dia here, the SSM. Okay, the SSM, Companies Commission of Malaysia. So you can actually register and tell, okay, I want to open up a business, which is a sole proprietor. Okay, a sole proprietorship. You become a sole proprietor. Secondly is a partnership. Okay, a partnership, that means you have partners. Okay, partners not necessarily just 2, but it can be up to maximum of 20 people. For some professional businesses like accounting or legal, all right, you can have up to maximum of 50 people. Right, so these two, sole proprietorship and also partnership, need to be registered, okay, under the Business Registration Act 1956. Next business entity is the LLP. LLP is the limited liability partnership, okay, which is another alternative business vehicle regulated under the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2012, right, which it actually combines the characteristics of the private limited company and a conventional partnership. Okay, so good thing about this limited liability partnership compared to the partnership itself is that this particular business is actually a legal personality separate from the partners. Okay, unlike the partnership, the whole owners or the whole partners are actually the business. But in this LLP, limited liability partnership, the partners are a separate entity, while the company itself, which is this limited liability partnership, is another private company. Okay, and it has a perpetual succession and offers benefits of a private limited company without having all those so much paperworks in reporting the requirements and also preparing all for the audit, so on, like the L not LP, LLP, yes, LLP. Okay, sorry, PLC, like the private limited company, right? And then what else here? Okay, next, the LLP concept also supports the startup business and also these SMEs, right? With you can also have joint ventures and also venture capitals to grow without having to worry too much about your personal liabilities, personal assets, and also strict compliance requirement. Okay, like in private limited company. And LLP can be formed by a minimum of 2% up to unlimited number of members. All right. And last one is the private limited company. Okay, in this private limited company, the business will be registered under the Companies Act 1965, which company itself is a body that has legal entity separate from the members or the founder, just like LLP just now. But the concept of the company is based on several individuals who are entrepreneurs, okay, contributing to a bigger capital sourcing to make the business easily manageable and expandable. Okay, so there are some improvement have been made in this Companies Act in 2016, whereby the total number of partners or members can start from a minimum of one person, okay, to a maximum of 50 individuals. Right, and all kinds of management and monetary financing in the company is contributed by and among the members based on their ownership percentage from the total agreed upon by all. Okay, and there will be some shareholders. Okay, these are the shareholders that is liability. Their liability is limited to the amount of share owned or held by the members only. Okay, and this establishment is quite complicated. Right, there will be a lot of legal requirements, okay, that you need to have in order for you to register as the private limited company. Okay, there are two legal documents that should be completed to form a private limited company, which the first one is you must have a memorandum of association, okay, and also the articles of association. So of course, to do this you need what they call this company secretary, okay, that will be responsible for all doing this thing. So a private limited company is not allowed to invite the public to buy the share because it's not a public company. Private limited, nama pun dah private limited, that means it's only for the partners, right? And this type of company must use the word Sendirian Berhad at the end of the company's name. Okay, in Malaysia we normally see a lot of companies with SDN BHD, that is Sendirian Berhad lah. Okay, or it's actually PTE Ltd. PTE Ltd means private limited, Sendirian Berhad lah in BM. Alright. Okay, another form, okay, which is what we call the cooperative just now, which the only one that registered under the Cooperative Act, right? Where it is also known as cooperative, co-op, or sometimes it is spelled co-op like this. Right? And it is actually an autonomous association of people united voluntarily to meet common economic, social, and cultural needs, as well as aspiration through a jointly owned and democratically controlled business. Koperasi lah, basically, okay? So in Malaysia, the minimum number of members in a primary cooperative should be 100, and in the farmers cooperative, it is 50 maximum. Sorry, minimum of 50, okay? So like private limited company, cooperative also will have a separate legal entities and its member, of course, they have director, manager, employees, okay, that are not liable for any debts incurred unless the debt are the result of the recklessness, negligence, or fraud, or if the members were guarantors to the cooperative's loan. Okay, so normally it allows up to limited distribution of profits to the members. Okay, and every cooperative society must be registered under the cooperative laws. Okay, supervised by the Malaysia Cooperative Society Commissions, or what we call the Suruhanjaya Koperasi Malaysia. Right. Now let's look at the benefits and also the limitation of sole proprietor. as a single owner of a business, the benefit, of course, you will get 100% profit from whatever that you are doing. Okay, and in terms of the registration, it is the easiest one, can be done by you yourself, right? If you are the owner of the business, or if you feel like today I want to open up a business, so you go to CCM and then you register. That's it. So easy. Okay, while the limitation could include, when you talk about the capital, all right, the capital that you own, it is limited to the ability of the owner. Meaning to say, if because you are the only owner and you only have 10,000, so that's it. That's the only amount of capital that you can put into the business. Okay, unlike when you have a partnership, you have more people, then you can put more capital into the business, right? And it can also be difficult to generate a capital or even to seek for some what they call financial assistance from the bank, for example, because when the bank see you as a single person, okay, you go there, say to the bank, I want to borrow 100,000 ringgit for me to open up this business. Then the bank will ask, are you alone doing this business? Yes, I'm alone. And then bank will have the debt, right? You are giving the debt to the bank by bank will wanted to make sure that when they give loans to a single person, the single person should be able to repay back all the loans, all right? So therefore, normally the bank will not have the confidence to give the loans to the sole proprietor, okay? And then sole proprietors will not issue stocks, okay, or other money guaranteeing investment like the corporation do. So you can't add more capitals to your business, okay? And on top of that, also, you know that being a sole proprietor, you have unlimited liabilities, okay? Unlimited liabilities in the way that if something goes bad to your business, okay, you dah jual semua barang and then or you dah buat semua barang but then nobody buys your product and then you cannot survive, right? So what happens is that if let's say you have some loans or any other financial commitments, you can be declared bankrupt, and those people that you own or loaned from can actually go up to your personal assets to repay back all your loans or your borrowings, okay? Here another benefits is like in terms of the cost, okay? Cost of registration is very cheap, which is RM 60 ringgit, okay, plus 10 ringgit for documentation. With 70 ringgit, you can actually open up a sole proprietorship, okay? And in terms of the management, is also easy because you are the only person that will make all the decision for your business. So you don't have to have any conflicts with your partners, right? Flexibility because there is less regulated law about this particular sole proprietorship, right? So normally there are in the micro industry. Okay, and in terms of decision making, also sole proprietor has a complete control and also decision making power over the business. Okay, if you kata you nak buat A lah, then you jual A. Okay, you don't have to defend yourself to your partner by telling why should we sell A. Okay, why not sell B? Well, or C, for example. Okay, and like I told you, we're talking about the business affairs. Any transaction of the business affairs will be made in a partnership is private. So whatever that you do, not partnership, yeah, this should be your sole proprietorship. It is private. Okay, only you know. Okay, whatever happened in your business, nobody else will know. Unlike a private limited company, this remember, you have to tell the auditors about whatever is happening in your business. Okay, other limitation includes if let's say when you talk about decision making, yes, you can make your own decision, but if you do not know how to make the decision, you may not be able to get some help from other people. Okay, kecuali kalau macam ada orang nak bagi your advice just like that, then okay. But of course, you're talking about two heads is better than one, right? Sometimes you don't see it from one perspective. You only see it from one perspective. But maybe your partners, okay, if you have a partnership or you have your private limited company, so this heads, okay, can actually look into the problem and solve it from different perspective. But sole proprietor, he is alone or she is alone. So most of the time, she or he needs to make the decision alone based on whatever he or she knows. Like liability just now, I told you it can go up to the personal assets, and then lack of business continuity. Okay, this is another one. Now, if let's say, okay, the owner becomes deceased, okay, or incapacitated, meaning to say you are unable to actually continue or do the business, so you will know you cannot simply pass it to another person. Okay, if let's say this particular old man, okay, started up this particular sole proprietorship. So what happened after that? That he passed away, right? He cannot simply get the son or the daughter to continue doing the business. Okay, so what happened is that the son or the daughter need to actually dissolve the registration first, meaning to deregister, telling that okay, my father has, that particular person has passed away, right? And then what they need to do is to re-register. And when they do re-registering of the business registration name cannot be the same as the one that already deceased. Okay, and then when talking about tax, owners must pay tax as what they call the self-employment tax. So there is no company tax. All right. Next, when we're talking about partnership, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, so that you'll be able to see. Okay. For partnership, as you know, there are more people in the business. Okay, so in terms of their capital, you can have more because you have more partners, more people to bring in the cash into the business or asset into the business. Responsibility, you may divide the responsibility to your partners according to their skills or their qualification. Okay, and then flexibility, like a sole proprietorship, partnership is also less regulated by law, right? And when talk about decision making, it's good in the way that you can share the view in the decision making situation before deciding the best option. Like I told you, two heads is better than one, right? And when talk about business affairs, also again, the business affairs is actually private. All right. In terms of limitation, just like sole proprietorship, liabilities are also unlimited. Okay, and then now another one in this limitation of a partnership is that there can happen, right? The disagreement, which obviously people are likely to have some different ideas or views on certain things. So what happened is that there could be some disagreements and disputes, and it can actually lead to personal affairs clash. Okay, like before this you are best friends, okay, so you do open up this particular partnership, but then just because one person doesn't agree with one thing, and then in the end you will lost that particular friendship. Okay, so that can happen. Next one is in terms of the liability. Ordinary partnership are subject to unlimited liability, which means each of the partners share. I think it's something here already. Oh, okay, it's already been taken care. Next is the taxation. So partners must pay tax in the same way as the sole trader or the sole proprietorship. Okay, and we're talking about another limitation is that, of course, the profit that you earn, you will not be able to get it 100% by yourself. You have to, of course, divide it among the partner equally according to the partnership agreement. Okay, now looking at the LLP, the limited liability partnership, the benefits could be owners is not limited to any number. Okay, and then it is also inexpensive because compared to opening up a PLC, private limited company, it is much more expensive. Okay, so other than that, good thing about this LLP is that it's a separate legal entity. Okay, so you can have this partners separate from the business itself. All right, and ease of compliance. Okay, compliance requirements are simpler than the private limited company where accounts need not to be audited, but you are required to be maintained in the business premise only. Okay, while the limitation for limited liability partnership is that we're talking about recognition. Okay, due to the tax benefits and the tricky wordings of this what we call an LLP. Some parties do not recognize LLP as a legal business. This gives a further burden to the owner to explain on the LLP and so on. Okay, and also there are some additional taxes. Okay, there are large tax limit on limited liability partnership, which these taxes can come in as additional taxes when you want to register, and also when there's issues with some personal tax filing. Okay, and there are what they call it some issues with the credibility. Okay, other businesses and many consumers or client, they look down on LLP because they don't see it as a credible business. Okay, they might as well think that why you want to open up an LLP, why not open up the PLC right away, Okay, so corporation will gain much more respect and are generally more successful than this LLP. Okay, the corporation is meaning to say the companies lah. Okay, limited liability company, private limited company, sorry. Okay, other than that, their benefit also includes some perpetual cessation, okay, like any changes or resignation or death of the partner will not affect its existence. Okay, liability, all of the risks of the business are spread out among the partners, so you don't have to worry about the liability that you have to own by yourself, okay, or only you need to pay those liabilities. No, you have those partners to help you around. All right, and there are also tax benefits which each individual partner they file a variety of different tax form regarding the business. Oops. And of course they also have this flexibility, which partner has the ability to decide the amount they want to contribute to the number of partners that are to be in the business. Right? Next one, private limited company. Talking about private limited company, this is the only one when I say company. Right? The others I call businesses. Okay, the businesses. A business could be private limited it could be a sole proprietorship, it could be a partnership or limited liability partnership. But when I said company, that means it is a private limited company. All right. Why is that? Because it's a totally separate entity than the partners. All right. So they have limited liability. It's a good thing. All right. And they are normally considered as a professional status kind of business. Okay. They enjoy good value in the market, and then more and more national and also international company show their key interest on doing the businesses with this private limited company, and these company are established on and also hold a credibility in the market. Okay, people normally look up if you open up a company, then wow, you book a company. It's like that. Okay. Next one, we talk about management. They are better compared to the sole proprietorship and also partnership, as organization structure is more systematic and assisted by a group of workers paid according to their skills and capabilities to manage the company. Okay, and in terms of credit terms of financing, also there are actually easier to get creditors. Okay, or easier to convince the bankers and also even government to actually give them the credits or loan to them lah, right? While the limitation of private limited company includes talking about the formalities and also registration process, it will be very, very tedious. Okay, and then it is expensive. All right, there is a high cost which involve registering the fees, legal fees, and also company operation fees. It all depends on the industry that you want to involve into. Okay, some industry can be up like 5,000, some industry will be more. Okay, and you must know that when talking about this private limited company, about secrecy, a company's information, okay, need to be conveyed to all the members and also shareholders, and sometimes it also information that is what they call it sensitive information. All right, but this information, okay, can be obtained by the public as well. Okay, so no secrecy lah. And when you talk about winding up procedures, the procedure to wind up is quite complicated and it is also costly. Okay, it is the best to register a company only if promoters are serious. Mean to say you are really, really serious in opening up the company, then you do it lah. Alright, or else then it's a waste of time. Kalau you dah buat halfway and then you do not know anymore, or you can't handle the paperwork and so on, then it is really a waste of time. Then might as well you open up this LLP just now. Okay, other than that, the benefits of a company also, because you know, when the company continues to run, okay, even if the member die or the people opt out, okay, the company will not be dissolved. Meaning it is still there because company is a separate entity than the partners just now. Okay, like I told here, separate legal entity. All right, and when you're talking about expansion scope, private companies can raise capital from individuals or investment companies for further expansion. Okay, another limitation of private limited company is also the tax. Okay, other than the partners need to pay themselves as an income tax. Okay, company itself need to pay the corporate tax as well. Okay, moving on to the cooperative. Okay, so what is so good about cooperative? If you are decided that, okay, I want to open up a cooperative, So, okay, one thing about cooperative is that it's easy to form, okay, provided that you have people that are willing to join stock the company, okay. And any 10 adults can voluntarily form an association and register with the register of cooperative societies. Okay, it's easy also to register, and you can open your membership with people, okay, whoever wanted to become the member of the cooperative, then they can actually contribute by paying some fees. Okay, and then democratic control. A cooperative society is controlled in a democratic manner, which means the members can cast their vote to elect their representative to form a committee that looks after day-to-day administration, and this committee is accountable to all the members of the society, and they also have this limited liability, which is only limited to the extent of capital contributed by them, right? Next, look at the disadvantages or the limitation of cooperative. They have limited capital, which they are only limited to the amount of money that is being contributed by the members. Alright, and then there could be some management problem because generally it is seen that cooperative societies do not function efficiently due to the lack of managerial talent, because anybody can open up a society with a cooperative, whether you have the business background or not, right? So sometimes when a member elect a person based on popularity, or because this person is handsome, because this person is beautiful, okay, but they may not know how to really manage a cooperative administration, then there could be this what they call management problem, because even though you want to vote the correct person or the qualified person, but majority of the member voted for the person who are less competent, then you can't say much because it is you're using the veto votes, right, whereby it is chosen by the member. All right, and then there also could be problems like lack of motivation, whereby every cooperative society is formed to render service to its member rather than to earn profit. Okay, and this does not provide enough motivation to the members to actually put in their best effort and also manage the society efficiently. Okay, now other than those, there are also another benefit of this particular cooperative, which mana punya mouse ni, tak nampak. Oops, salah. Wait, need to reduce this. Why am I jumping to this page? Okay, I think we are at almost the final one right here. Okay, when you talk about eliminating this particular middleman's profit, yes, you can do that. Members or consumers control their own supplies through cooperative, thus eliminating any middleman profit. Okay, you can buy directly, right? And then in terms of state assistance, both central and also state government do provide all kinds of assistance to this cooperative, right? And you can say it is actually a stable life, right? Because a cooperative society has what they call fairly stable life, and it continues to exist for as long as the members, okay, are actually willing to contribute to that particular society. Its existence is not affected by any death, insolvency, lunacy, or resignation of any of the member, right? And then another limitation of this particular cooperative is that there could be some lack of cooperation. Okay, not everybody are voluntarily. Maybe at first only you want to work and have the motivation to work voluntarily, but then at the end, or not at the end, after 4, 5 years, then you may not have that cooperation anymore. Okay, it is often seen that there is a lot of friction between members because of personality differences, ego clash, and some personal issues. All right, and the selfish attitude of members may sometimes bring an end to the society as well. All right, and now cooperatives are typically government dependent. All right, because the inadequacy of capital and various other limitations make these cooperative societies dependent so much on the support of the government. Okay, so due to this, government sometimes directly interferes in the management of the society and also audits their annual accounts. Okay, so done with all the 4 types of business entities as well as their advantages, okay, and also their limitation. Next, we move on to the registration procedure. Now, the startup entrepreneur will need to know where and how to register the business. All right. So there are 2 places that you can go for registration depending on the type of business that you want to open up just now, like I told you. Okay, you have the CCM, Companies Commission of Malaysia. All right, or if you open up a cooperative, then it will be Cooperative Commission of Malaysia. Okay, if you're really interested into doing that business and registering your business, please go to these websites lah. Right. So in a nutshell, business registration is actually compulsory, yeah, memang compulsory for everyone, or else it's illegal business. Okay, so each of these business forms has a distinct characteristics, okay, their own advantages, pros and cons lah, right, and differing on the scope of business activities, the registration requirements, okay, and also capital requirement, as well as the registration procedure. Like I told you, if you want to open up a private limited company, registration procedure will be much more complicated as compared to the easiest one just now, which is the sole proprietorship. Okay, so with that, we finish the third chapter for this Ent300. I hope you are able to understand, and if you have any questions, of course, please ask me in our Telegram chat. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.